The iVac switch is probably the easiest part of the system installation. Really all you have to do is plug the switch into a receptacle and then in turn plug your dust collector into the switch. This is the 240 volt model and it will handle dust collectors up to 2 horsepower. Set the dip switches on the back of the iVac switch so they're all in the off position. Go ahead and mount the switch in a secure location and make sure that the iVac switch is set to the auto position. Finally, make sure that your factory switch for your dust collector is set to the start or on position. And here you can see how I have my sander set up. This is basically demo mode, so I've got the number 3 dip switch on. But you notice in this setup the number 5 dip switch is also on. That's to configure the sander as a unique tool that's distinct from the table saw. And so I'll walk over and flip on the sander and you can see how the blast gates respond. And here you can see the final configuration for the table saw and the sander dip switches located in the Pro blast gates. Now you can see the number 3 switch has been turned off for both the table saw and the sander. And this takes us out of demo mode for that short 2-second delay on activating the blast gates. The short delay was helpful for setup mode, but now that we're in the permanent operation mode, we've turned that number 3 switch off. I've set the table saw to the number 1 tool position, which is switch 4 on and switch 5 and 6 are off. The sander is set for tool number 2, which is switch 4 off and switch 5 on, switch 6 off. And these basically give you the function of tool 1 and tool 2. For instance, because the table saw is set at tool number 1, its blast gate will remain open until a secondary tool is triggered. For instance, if you turn on the sander, the sander blast gate would open, and 50 seconds later the table saw blast gate would close. If you want to bypass this feature, simply set the table saw to tool 2 and set additional tools to tool 3, tool 4, and so on. And you can simply pre-drill a 1/8 inch hole and then go ahead and pop or rivet your joints together.
Was ist hier los? Ich schlage vor, Sie sehen sich das mal an.